Tuesday, January 20th. There is the closing bell, guys, with the S&Ps up over 55 points on this inauguration day. How much higher can this market go? Let's dive right in, break this market down, and then go over the top stocks of the day. Taking a look at the overnight session, stocks had no problem at all. We trended higher into the bell, and we just did not let off the gas. This market is seeing a little bit of selling in the final minutes of close. However, overall in the day, finishing up over 55 points is a great day if you ask me. When we take a look at it on a daily, we can see that the S&P's put in a new all-time high. This market is gearing up for a leg higher. Is it going to happen this week? Let's cruise on over to the SPX, and we can see today we are hitting the upper edge of our expected move. We're pulling back ever so slightly. Now, what does this mean? Well, statistically, means we should rest this area, potentially revert back down to the mean. However, if we do see some momentum keep on going, potentially a 1.5 standard deviation move would put us around the 3,500 level, which is the upper edge from last week. But when we take a look at it on the day, you can just see we got to this line and we're getting right below it. We sold right off below this line. 38.53 is what I have from Friday's session. However, 38.50, there is no exact number, so just this area for the most part. Let's cruise on over to the Nasdaq and see how technology did today. Taking a look at the Nasdaq, it just soared today, up over 2.3%. It was 2.5. We're seeing some selling. However, it did put a new all-time high in today. Now, when we compare this to our Big Five, the Big Five today is up over 4.5%. This was over 5 at one point. However, it's almost doubling our Nasdaq, and it's lifting our S&Ps a lot. It's doing a lot of the lifting today. When you have companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they're all soaring today. And I said, watch out, guys. If this index gets going and puts in a new all-time high, it's going to be very, very hard to short this marketplace, just on the sheer weight that these 5 companies have on the overall market. Let's take things a little bit closer and take a look at the Russell. Looking at the Russell today, it did put an all-time high in. However, it was only up 0.33%, so it was our weakest performing index. And you just take a look at it, it saw a nice pop. However, saw a pretty sizable drop, that rotation out of the small caps into the safe haven trade, the Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. We use these products nearly every single day. These are safe havens in a sense, and that's where the money ran into today. However, when we take things a little bit closer and take a look at some of our sectors, what led today? Well, the communication service sector led. However, this sector is made up of Google and Facebook, over 50%, so it's not the best read on this marketplace. We see real estate that was up 2%, but the technology sector up 2%, putting in an all-time high today. All-time high is the common theme across the board in these sectors. Just seeing consumer discretionary putting an all-time high. You're seeing software stocks putting an all-time high. You're seeing healthcare stocks putting an all-time high. You get the idea here. Now, we even have the energy sector that was up 0.37%. It's not up as much as you'd like it to see, but it's not red, so it's hanging in there, these energy stocks. Very light volume in it today. But what was down? The financials were the only sector down today, down 0.4%. But for the most part, we're seeing just some consolidation in this 31 range. Financials being down puts some stress on this marketplace, but from the strength of technology, it just doesn't matter. Let's move on and take a look at our advanced decline line on the day. Taking a look at the AD line, it's very similar to yesterday. We're seeing about 2/3 up, 1/3 down. This is in the S&P 100. You see all our sectors up. However, with the weight of financials, it is putting stress on this S&P 100. You can just see most of these stocks down are most likely banks across the board. So the financials are damaged, but they're not out just yet. And when they do want to join the rally with tech and energy, this market is just going to fly through the ceiling. So with our indexes up across the board, how did the bonds do today? Taking a look at the 30-year treasury, it was up 0.2%. For the most part, it's just kind of wobbling around this 169 level. However, the bonds were up with the equities, which is a small concern. Now, when we take a look at the TNX, it's in the same boat, just consolidating up around this 1.1% yield on the 10-year. So it hasn't quite broken down yet, and the bonds aren't getting going yet, but it'll be something to keep our eyes on if the bonds want to go higher with the equities. That's going to be a head scratcher if you ask me. Let's move on over and take a look at the volatility index. Taking a look at the VIX futures, it was down close to 2%, just ticked over 2% on these futures. It's not what you want to see, but when the market's raging, the VIX is going to pull back. Taking a look at the VVIX, it's just retreating. Coming back down to that 110 line, you take a look at it on the day, we did see a little pop here in the final minutes of trade. So this is a concerning flag. It was yesterday. However, this market shook it off. However, today we hit the upper edge in the SPX. My guess is we could pull back, and if we do, the play of the day would be in an SPY put right out the gates on the Wednesday expiration. That could pay very, very nicely if you're correct. Let's cruise on over and take a look at our dollar index and see how our commodities did today. Taking a look at the dollar index, it is down 0.03%, flat on the day basically here in the dollar. Nothing to see here today. We look at crude oil, and crude oil up about 0.5% on the day. Just kind of consolidating up here before it wants to go higher. This will be the ultimate test in crude oil, and it's going to come down on the OPEC news and the supply and demand, mainly for this commodity. Moving on to gold. Gold is just singing today, up over $28 an ounce, 1.5%, with silver leading the way up 2.3%. Are the metals gearing up to going higher? Now that Biden's in officially, he's already talked about a $1.9 trillion deal and a $3 trillion infrastructure deal. So you're looking at $5 trillion. If those deals happen, these metals are going to go higher. And last but not least, we have Bitcoin, and we can see Bitcoin was down close to 5% on the day. But it's Bitcoin. Don't expect just a smooth ride. It's going to have a lot of volatility and a lot of swings. With a lot of risk comes a lot of reward. And if you look at it in the bigger picture, this is just some consolidation here for the bigger move. I will be doing a Bitcoin video here in the coming days, so look out for that. However, the 22nd to the 23rd, my charts are screaming. I thought the move was happening today. However, Bitcoin got bought right back up, and we're seeing some selling now in the futures. But it's Bitcoin. Expect a wild ride. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. So it's official. Biden is officially the new president of the United States. The market ate it up today and just ran to the upper edge of the expected move. As you can just see, we hit this upper edge. So tomorrow could be a nice play to potentially take a 385 put, 384 put right out the gates on the Wednesday 0-day expiring option. You don't want to buy it now because options are closed. However, keep your eyes on what technology does. Are we going to get bought up by Europe and Asia in the overnight session, or is it going to be a weak overnight trade? If it's going to be weak in the overnight session, that put becomes more and more enticing to potentially take tomorrow. Other than that, let's move on and take a look at the top stocks of the day. So we go over to the scan tab, we hit scan, and here is our list of 6. Coming in at the number 3 stock of the day goes to Teladoc Health. Today, Teladoc was up over 6% with the market cap of $35.7 billion. On a year to date, this stock is up 23% almost. Taking a look at Teladoc, it is putting in a nice cup here. Potentially could be breaking out at the 253 level. But what does Teladoc do? Well, Teladoc is a world-class virtual medical practice with board-certified and state-licensed care providers across numerous specialties. Now, I can't see why it's up today. There's no news since the 14th on this thing. So it is in the midst of a nice breakout. However, we do have a stock that was up with good earnings yesterday, and that stock was United Health, UNH. They had great earnings, so potentially the money could be following Teladoc into their earnings that are coming up at the end of February, but we're seeing the momentum pick up here, some nice volume here, and it's about to put in a nice cup breakout. When we throw it on the expected move, we came into this week expecting $10.13. We're up 14 today. We came close to that upper edge yesterday. 2 standard deviation move is around 245.51, which are about $1 above that level right now. My guess is we can cool off a bit, come to that 2 standard deviation move on the week, and rest there before going higher. This move today doesn't really make sense. It's more people being speculative and front-running Teladoc because of United Health's earnings. Coming in at the number 2 stock of the day goes to Ford Motor Company. Today, Ford was up over 8.3% with a market cap of $43.2 billion. On a year-to-date, Ford is up 27%. Ford is looking nice. It put in a new all-time high today. It's been breaking out since about the 12th. You can just see from a year out. It's making a nice trend higher. Now, what does Ford do? For those of you who don't know, it's a global automotive and mobility company. It includes designing, manufacturing, marketing, servicing full-line Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Now, can't find the news today on Ford. It did see some price target raised to $11 from Deutsche Bank, which we're knocking on the door to that. Also, we saw some strong earnings out of Morgan Stanley as well as Netflix, so lifting the market sentiment higher heading into earnings seasons, which we see Ford has earnings coming up on the 4th, it looks like. So when we take a look at Ford on the expected move, coming into this week, they're expecting 43 cents. 2 standard deviation puts us at 1069, which we're resting a little bit higher than that. Our upper edge was 1026, and you can just see we blew over that expected move. So if momentum continues, a 3 standard deviation on the week would put us at around 1112. So if it wants to continue trending higher, look for around $11.10 to give it some trouble before pulling back. Otherwise, this is a stock that has some potential going into 2021. Coming in at the number 1 stock of the day, you guessed it, Netflix Inc. Today, Netflix is up over 16.5% with a market cap of $259 billion. On a year-to-date, Netflix is up 12%, meaning it was down on the year before yesterday's earnings. Now, what does Netflix do? For those of you living under a rock, Netflix is a subscription streaming entertainment service. The company has paid streaming memberships in over 190 countries. Now, yesterday, Netflix had earnings. They missed their earnings per share. However, they blew away user growth, seeing over 8.5 million users. They now have over 200 million subscribers. We're seeing price targets across the board raised, and you just see the volume coming into Netflix. It just soared. We look at it, how it traded. You saw that soar higher, coasted, and just kind of trended higher. When we take a look at Netflix on the expected move, 2176 was our expected move. 4 standard deviations puts us at 585. We're just $1 above that level. What makes the most sense? Just to calm down here on this 4 standard deviation level, 585. However, if the momentum wants to continue into tomorrow and Friday, possibly 606 could play the next level of resistance. Otherwise, we're sitting right at the 4 standard deviation move. It could slow it down. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. Did you get a chance to watch any of these takers? If not, leave a comment down below what you're watching going into tomorrow's session. And if you've watched this far, guys, I really appreciate it when you hit the thumbs up button. It means a lot when you guys show some support. And if you're watching me for the very first time, I do these every single day. Show some love. Hit that subscribe button. A lot of my viewers are not subscribed. It really makes my day when I see my sub count just go up by 1. Have any comments, questions, concerns? Leave them down below and I'll give you a genuine reply, what I feel on your question. Other than that, have a great night, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care. Peace!